Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Vinod Sharma ji.
Hare
Hare Krishna Shakuntala ji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, our dear friends. So once again, we welcome you all and we welcome Srimad Bhakti Vinod Das ji for another enlightening session of Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana. I can't believe that we have been in this meeting since last 5 months, and we're meeting every 2 weeks. It's such a, I really look forward to this, and I can't believe it's our 9th meeting. And it's so enlightening, it's so empowering to hear this Bhagavat Mahapurana. I've heard it as a child from my parents, but of course, not in, that time I couldn't understand in so much in detail. But now, of course, listening and having discussions and asking questions, pertaining to these stories, it's really a pleasure to hear this. So without further ado, we invite Srimad Bhakti Vinod Das ji to begin today's session.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we start as usual. We start the session by reciting that shloka. So please repeat after me. Narayanam
Narayanam
Namaskritya
Namaskritya
Naram
Naram
Chaiva Narotamam
Narotamam
Devim
Devim
Saraswati
Saraswati
Vyasam
Vyasam
Tato
Tato
Jayam
Jayam
Udirayet
Mudirayet
No, it is Jayam and Udirayet.
Udi.
Udirayet. Okay. Jayam Udirayet.
Because in Hindi it says Jaya
Yes.
Mudirayet.
Yeah.
So pronunciation, when
Jayam.
we break the word,
Yes.
Okay.
and when you read the translation, then I think it will be clearer to you that why it is
Yeah.
pronounced as Jayam Udirayet.
Mm.
So who will read
Yeah.
the translation today?
I'll do that.
Yes, Varsha.
Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto the Nara Narayana, Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So today we are beginning the second canto, दूसरा स्कंद भागवतम का. भागवतम में 12 स्कंद हैं. There are 12 cantos in Bhagavatam. So today we are going to start discussion on the second canto. And basically second canto describes the cosmic manifestation. जो भौतिक संसार है उसकी रचना कैसी हुई और उसका कारण क्या है, रचना का कारण क्या है. What is the cause of the creation? Who is the cause of the creation? So continuing from last time what we discussed, when Parikshit Maharaj met Shukadev Goswami, and then one question he asked, which is actually relevant to all of us. Can anyone remember? Can anyone say what was the question Parikshit Maharaj asked from Shukadev Goswami?
उन्होंने पूछा कि जब कोई व्यक्ति मरने वाला हो तो उससे पहले उसे क्या करना चाहिए, बेस्ट रहेगा.
करेक्ट. तो उसने कहा कि जब कोई मरने वाला हो, उसने अपने विषय में नहीं पूछा, ना ही किसी विशेष व्यक्ति के विषय में पूछा. एक सामान्य प्रश्न उसने पूछा जो सब पे लागू होता है. So then Shukadev Goswami was very happy to hear this question. And he told him that because you are coming from a devotee's family and you are very dear to Krishna, and Krishna is the one who protected you in the womb of your mother when you were small, then Ashwatthama shot the Brahmastra. So because of that, your consciousness is like that. So in spite of enjoying the kingdom of the whole earth planet, you were the emperor. Because Shukadev Goswami already appointed his son as an emperor, right? So then he said that you were the emperor, but still your consciousness, because you asked this question from this, your consciousness is revealed, right? Prabhupada used to say that a well-dressed fool can be recognized when he opens his mouth. What he speaks, from that we can understand, the person may be looking very well-dressed, very sophisticated, very advanced person, materially very, very advanced. But when he speaks, then we can come to know that what kind of consciousness the person has. So Shukadev Goswami appreciated Parikshit Maharaj and thanked him for asking this question. Now this question Parikshit Maharaj asks actually on behalf of the whole mankind, right? So because Parikshit Maharaj asked this question, the whole Bhagavatam came into existence. The Krishna's written form came into existence. As I said, that Krishna created this whole situation, that Parikshit Maharaj, a very nice devotee who was always respectful towards sages, towards the Brahmanas. And how could he commit such an offense by insulting a great sage? And then because of that, how could a Brahmana boy curse Parikshit Maharaj? But because it was all arranged by Krishna, because Krishna wanted to appear in Kali Yuga in the written form, because he already left this planet in his personal form. So he wanted to appear in his personal written form so that his devotees can take shelter of Krishna's this written form, literal incarnation, and then go back to Godhead by following the instructions given in the Bhagavatam. When we follow, then we qualify. We become eligible to go back to Godhead. So this was Krishna's plan for the sake of his devotees. See, this reveals Krishna's compassion. Even after leaving also, he was thinking about what he should do for his devotees after leaving the planet, right? So then Shukadev Goswami thanked Parikshit Maharaj and started reciting the Bhagavatam. And before coming to the actual subjects of the creation and all, he told Parikshit Maharaj that the living beings generally in the material world, they get entangled in the material desires to fulfill the material desires. And because of that, they fall down. They keep on going downwards. In one of the sessions, I mentioned, some of you may remember, and today I see that there are some new people have joined today, new members. I mentioned that, all the planets, they are in the round shape, right? All the universes also overall, they are the round shape. And this whole material creation is considered as Bhavasagar, the gigantic ocean, correct? And these planets are floating in this ocean, vast gigantic ocean. So we see that, I gave an example, an analogy. Supposing we take water in a round pot, and then we move with the hand or stick that water. So it will circulate in that same pot, and then in the middle, it will create that centrifugal force. Like bhamar ke jaisa ban jayega na usme, like a whirlpool, small whirlpool. So if we throw some light piece of paper inside, so it will go down from the middle part because of the centrifugal force of the water. So it will go down, and then it will go to the bottom of that pot. So same way it is happening with us. We fell into this material world, and now all planets are round in shape. And then when we go around and on the waters, circulating inside, and then it pushes us down. So I said that in this kind of situation, it is actually a proven fact. Scientifically, it is proven that when somebody gets trapped in a whirlpool, So no matter how expert that person may be in swimming, he may be very skillful, but he makes an attempt to come out using his skills of swimming, he will go further down. The best thing is just raise the arms and stand straight in that whirlpool. Just keep your body straight. The water itself will throw you out. And jokingly, I said, don't try to experiment on yourself. So why it happens? Because it is a scientific thing. Because in that whirlpool, the water is pushing the things out. Whatever objects are there, big ships also can get sunk in that whirlpool. But when the human being, he stands straight, so the opposite force is created, upwards force is created, the water will throw the person out. So that example is used in our spiritual life also. In spiritual life also, no matter how learned, how knowledgeable we may be, but if we try to free ourselves from this bondage of birth and death, cycle of birth and death, it is going to be very difficult. The simple solution is surrender. Just raise the arms up and surrender. And then the Maya itself will throw us out. Maya will say, that you're surrendering to Krishna, now there is no use for you here. You get out. So we should surrender to the Supreme Person. So when Parikshit Maharaj asked this question, so Shukadev Goswami, in the beginning, started telling him that people, they get trapped due to their unfulfilled material desires. And now they enter into the Grihastha ashram. Apparently, it is called Grihastha ashram. But in reality, they become Griha Medhi. Does someone know what is the meaning of Griha Medhi?
No.
What is the meaning of Grihastha?
Householder. Householder.
Householder.
Householder, yes. So the person who follows the injunctions given in the scriptures and living in household life as a married person, right? So he's called householder, grihastha. That means, so who is the astha in the injunctions of the scriptures, and he follows those properly. So that person is called grihastha, who is very still, who is very firm in following the principles given in the scriptures. He does not allow his senses to drag him here and there. So that person is called grihastha. But most of us, we become griha medhi. Now, medhi means, actually, one of the meanings that is mentioned, that an animal who is tied with a small pillar, the wooden pillar, like cows. In cow herds, the gaushalas, they are tied with that wooden pillar kind of a thing, small pillar. And they just get stuck there. They keep on eating there. And whatever, the person wants to milk the cow, so still the cow remains there. Sometimes they release the cow for grazing outside, but otherwise, most of the time, it is tied up there. So this is what the actual position of the married people. They are griha medhis. They are not grihasthas. So Shukadev Goswami told Parikshit Maharaj that in Kali Yuga particularly, in general, in material world, people, they become griha medhis. They are not grihasthas. Only those people, while living in the Grihastha ashram, they hear about the Supreme Person, about Bhagavan, about Krishna, and glorify the Lord, do his kirtan, chant his holy name. Such people, they have the chance of becoming grihasthas. From griha medhi, they get transformed into grihasthas. They get promoted spiritually. So this is also a reason that for which, this Bhagavad Gita should be heard, Shravana, always. It is very beneficial. Now, many times people, they see, that it may be spiritual benefit, but how can it benefit materially? Now, material benefits is like a byproduct. When we advance spiritually, then the material objects, they get attracted towards us because that energy is generated. Vashaji, it will be easier for you to relate to these things. When that spiritual energy is generated, then automatically these material objects will be attracted towards that person. Magnetic force is generated. So the person does not have to do any extra endeavor to acquire material wealth. It will automatically come. The Lakshmi ji will automatically come when she sees anybody is worshipping her husband, Krishna, Vishnu. Because Lakshmi is very faithful, chaste woman. So wherever her husband is worshipped, she will go there. So once, I would like to share this with you. this question was raised in Indian Parliament long time ago when Prabhupada was still alive on this planet. So some devotees mentioned to Prabhupada because they heard that the discussion happened in Parliament, Indian Parliament, that they were suspicious how this Hare Krishna, because in India normally they call ISKCON movement as Hare Krishna movement, how these Hare Krishna devotees they get so much money. They decorate the deity so nicely, they decorate the temple during the festival so nicely, they offer the feast, prasadam, very opulent prasadam to people. There is no scarcity of anything. So where do these people get money from? So one of the MPs, one of the member of parliament, he said, because it seems that they have some connection with CIA. So they are CIA agents. So American government is providing the financial aids to them. So Prabhupada, when he heard, he laughed. He said, I wish, we had that kind of connection. But Prabhupada said, what to speak of CIA? We have connection with the Supreme Person, Vishnu. And because we are worshipping Vishnu, so Lakshmi ji automatically comes to serve her husband. So there is nothing surprising, he said. So this is what Prabhupada also, that's why he was to encourage, when you start worshipping Krishna, then your material problems also slowly will get resolved. You don't have to do any kind of extra endeavor for that. Otherwise, people, they are working so hard, but at the end of the day, they don't get enough. Many people are like that in the world. Starvation also is one of the problems in the world. So Shukadev Goswami started talking to him that people, they can get promoted from Brahmedi status to Grihastha status. And now in Grihastha ashram also, he said that one has to focus on the Paramatma feature of the Lord, the actual personal feature of the Lord. The Paramatma feature, normally it is mentioned in Bhagavatam in some other places, in some other place. Chaturbhuj. Now those who do yoga, in yoga, when the dhyana and meditation and samadhi is taught. So dhyana means, it is said that you have to focus on the Paramatma feature of the Lord, the Chaturbhuj Roop, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, holding these four things and having Vajayanti Mala and Kastuba on his chest. So this kind of feature one has to focus on, concentrate on, and that is called dhyana. Unfortunately, nowadays, because the yoga has become so commercial, these kind of things are not openly taught, because in the name of becoming secular, we don't support any religion. Then they don't talk about focusing, doing dhyana on the Chaturbhuj Roop of the Supreme Person. If any yoga teacher starts talking about it, you are focusing on Hindu religion. So actually, that's in Ashtanga Yoga. If we read the original text of Ashtanga Yoga, this is what mentioned. What is the meaning of dhyana? One should meditate on the Chaturbhuj Roop of Lord Vishnu, because he is the origin of all yoga system. Krishna instructed Arjuna about all yoga system: Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and ultimately he told Arjuna to focus on Bhakti Yoga. So the whole yoga ladder was very nicely explained to Arjuna by Krishna. And Krishna is the original Yogeshwara. And this knowledge of yoga he imparted to Lord Shiva, and he gave Lord Shiva that name of Yogeshwara. And Lord Shiva discussed the science of yoga, particularly Ashtanga Yoga, with Mother Parvati. And when he was imparting this knowledge to Mother Parvati at that time, one sage named Matsendra, he stayed in the river and he was listening the whole conversation. And then Matsendra, when he heard that for so many years, that whole conversation was going on, because there are millions and millions of postures, 8.4 million postures, and all postures, the techniques, benefits, everything were explained to Mother Parvati by Lord Shiva. And Matsendra sage, he learned this whole knowledge, and then he imparted the knowledge to his prime disciple Gorakhnath, and from that whole yoga system came on the earth planet. So this is the origin of yoga. So then Shukadev Goswami was telling Parikshit Maharaj that one should meditate on that personal, very beautiful form, wonderful form of Lord Vishnu, the Chaturbhuj form. And then Shukadev Goswami shared his experience with Parikshit Maharaj. Now this is very interesting. Does anyone know that who was Shukadev Goswami in his previous life?
He was a parrot in Vrindavan.
Radharani's parrot.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Radharani's parrot. So how come he became the son of Vyasadeva? Does anyone know the incident behind what happened?
No.
So it is said that, yes, anyone?
I vaguely remember. I'm not very sure. I think
Please share, please.
Vedavyas was narrating some story to his wife, and she yawned, and the parrot went into her mouth, and
Correct.
I think something like that. I don't remember because I've heard it as a kid.
Correct, correct. You're right. Your memory is good. That's the right thing. Yes, what you said. This is the way Shukadev Goswami came in the womb of Vyasadev's wife. And before that, it is said, that when Lord Shiva was narrating the whole katha of Bhagavatam to Mother Parvati, so Shuka, that parrot, was hearing also. Wherever that it is said, that Bhagavad Katha is recited, is discussed, Shukadev Goswami is there. Because he cannot be separated from the Bhagavad Katha. He is a very dear parrot of Radharani. So wherever Radharani's beloved Krishna is glorified, Shukadev Goswami is already there. Once in the US, some disciples, Prabhupada's disciples, they organize a talk lecture of Srila Prabhupada in one big hall. So now, because this whole concept of Krishna, Rama, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, everything was very new for the US citizens at that time. So when very few people were there, so disciples, they felt very, very disheartened. So they told, they apologized to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, sorry, not so many people. Can we promoted your lecture, but all that. Prabhupada said, why are you saying there are few people? So many people sitting there. There is Narad Muni there, there is Brahma there, there is Shukadev Goswami there. Everybody is there. So don't say that there are only few people. I can see them. So I will carry on with my lecture. Don't worry about that. So this Prabhupada's consciousness, he could see that everybody was present. So the point I want to make, that wherever pure devotees discuss the katha in a nice way, so Shukadev Goswami, Narad Muni, Brahma, all these great personalities are there. So Shukadev Goswami, yes, this is the way he came in the womb of Srila Vyasadev's wife. And now he stayed there for 16 years in the womb of his mother. He did not want to come out because he was transcendentalist, though he was impersonalist. When he heard from Lord Shiva, he became slightly impersonalist. So he did not want to come out because he knew that what kind of material world is theirs. So Vyasadeva assured him, he told him that you come out, you are so pure that the three gunas of this material world will not contaminate you, will not influence you. So don't worry about that. So when Vyasadeva assured him, on the assurance of Vyasadeva, he came out. But he did not stay at home. He started immediately running to the forest. Now Vyasadeva wanted to bring him back. So there was no way that Vyasadeva could convince him to come back. So there is one shloka. This is what I remember. I may be wrong, but this is what I heard, that this particular shloka, when Vyasadeva recited and Shukadev Goswami heard, then he came back. So I want to share that shloka with you. It is in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is about Putana. So when Vyasadeva recited the shloka of Putana, when Shukadev Goswami heard that a demoness, when she went to kill Krishna, smearing poison on her breasts in the pretext of, breastfeeding him, and Krishna killed him, but killed her, but give her the same position like Mother Yashoda. So Shukadev Goswami was saying, what kind of person is this? If someone went to kill him and he liberated her. So I want to know more about this person. Then he told Vyasadeva, please narrate the whole katha of Bhagavatam to me. I want to know more about this person. And after he heard the whole Bhagavad Katha, then it happened that he came to this at the bank of Ganges. Last time I said, in some places, like Jiva Goswami said, actually it was at the bank of Yamuna. But because Yamuna also touched Yamuna's water, also touched Krishna's toe, and Ganga also is coming from Krishna's because of the hole made by Krishna's toe in our Mahat Tattva, and that water came. So the source is the same. So because of that, Yamuna also sometimes advanced devotees, they address Yamuna also as Ganga, part of Ganga. So that's why Jiva Goswami clarified, actually it was at the bank of Yamuna, not Ganga. So anyway, whether it's Ganga or Yamuna, so the whole Katha Shukadev Goswami recited. Now here, before we go further, a very interesting point I want to mention, because many times, see, Varshaji, we talked about, you have very nice cutouts of this Radha Krishna behind you. Now, whenever we say Radha Krishna, there are so many temples of Radha Krishna. Many times people, they ask this question whether they were married, whether in reality Shri Krishna and Srimati Radharani, they were married. I think in one of the sessions we discussed about it very briefly. If someone remembers.
Yes. You told they were married, and at a very young age. And Lord Krishna had some different name. किसी और नाम से उन्होंने शादी की थी, और उनकी 5 के एज में मैरिज हुई थी.
Yeah, actually that time Krishna's name was the same, and Brahma is the one who performed the wedding ceremony. And it is said that a tree under which that wedding ceremony was performed in Vrindavan, that tree is still there, alive. So many people, they go to have darshan of that tree. So that was in childhood, the marriage ceremony was performed by Lord Brahma. Brahma was the officiating priest who performed the wedding ceremony. Shri Radhika, you want to say something?
No. I think she just joined.
Okay. So, and another time, there was a time when Brahma, he stole all cowherd boys and calves. It was Brahma's Vimohan Leela, right?
Leela.
So, according to Earth planet's time calculation, for 1 year, Brahma kept all the cowherd boys and calves in Brahmaloka, in Yoga Nidra. So during that 1 year time, Purnamasi, very elderly lady in Vrindavan, she went and told all the gopis that this year is very auspicious, and all the gopis should get their daughters married to the gopas, young gopas. So what had happened, because Brahma stole all the cowherd boys, so Krishna expanded himself in all his friends' forms, right? So all these gopas, they were actually expansion of Krishna. So at that time, one gopa named Abhimanyu, he got married to Srimati Radharani, and in reality, actually, he was Krishna himself. Correct? So that is said, that's the second time the marriage took place of Srimati Radharani and Krishna. And third time also, in reality, it is said, that Abhimanyu got married to Srimati Radharani. It is another version of Srimati Radharani's marriage with Abhimanyu. So at that time also, Krishna played a trick. So instead of Abhimanyu, the wedding ceremony was performed between Srimati Radharani and Krishna himself. Abhimanyu was not present at that time. But in the rest of the ceremony, Abhimanyu was present. So Krishna played the trick at that time also. So it is at 3 different occasions, Krishna got married to Srimati Radharani. So in reality, yes. That's why many times at many places, when they chant towards the end of any discourse or any kirtan or any program, they say Radhapati Krishna Sundara, Shama Sundara ki jai. They say Radhapati. So now the point I raised here, so Krishna got married to Srimati Radharani, but in the Bhagavatam, Shukadev Goswami has not uttered the name of Srimati Radharani openly. Now, if he in his previous life was the favorite parrot of Srimati Radharani loved him so much. So why didn't he utter her name while narrating the Katha of Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj?
Because
Would
he would,
anyone like to share?
yeah, because he would go into a 6-month samadhi if he uttered her name.
Yes. Because that was the effect of the name of Srimati Radharani on his consciousness. He would go in trance, samadhi. So the duration is unlimited. No, when he would come back in his proper consciousness, that was not mentioned. So because of that, and he had only 1 week time to narrate this whole Bhagavad Katha to Parikshit Maharaj. So he thought, if he goes in trance, then he will not be able to help Parikshit Maharaj. So for that reason, another reason it is said that because due to awe and reverence, towards Srimati Radharani, so much respect he had for Srimati Radharani. Out of respect, also he said he was not qualified to chant the name of Srimati Radharani. So these are the two reasons. In our culture also, mostly northern part of India, married women, they don't call their husband's name. They don't call their husband by their names, by their actual names. They use so many other names to call him. But with his original name, his first name, they don't call out of respect. Right? In Sindhi also, they say Heda Oda, right? Budho tha, Teji sunte ho.
Aji sunte ho. Are Pappu ke papa.
Correct.
Pappu ke papa.
Yeah. And of course, some women, they use so many other names also to call. Right? So yeah, so the Parikshit Maharaj had only 1 week's time. That's why Shukadev Goswami did not utter. But indirectly, at some places, he, chanted Radharani's name. So now, when it comes to the cosmic manifestation, creation, very interesting point Shukadev Goswami mentioned to Parikshit Maharaj. He said, whatever this whole material world is here we see, it is a perverted form of the spiritual world. Whatever things are there in the spiritual world, those are things in the spiritual form. But in the perverted, contaminated form, they are here. It's a kind of a reflection. When we stand in front of the mirror, so our right hand looks like a left hand in the mirror. Opposite. So this is complete opposite of the spiritual world. It's a reflection of the spiritual world. So the source of the material creation is the spiritual world. Material world does not come into existence on its own. That Big Bang theory, it is completely negated here. They say, that there was some kind of accident, the clash happened, and then the creation came into place. Now I want to ask, when any accident happens, does any accident cause creation or destruction?
Destruction.
Only
Accident
destruction.
causes destruction, right?
Destruction here.
Yeah. So logically also it does not make sense, that they call about Big Bang theory, the cause of creation, big accident happen and all that, two big planets or big chunks of rocks collided and the creation happened. When accident happens, it causes destruction, not creation.
The accident can only happen when the two things are already there, which are colliding with each other.
Absolutely. See, it's a good point. Now, then what is the cause of the creation of those two things? Correct? So, sometimes we Indians also, this is actually our fault. Whenever we hear any kind of philosophy, inverted commas, from the Western world, any kind of theory, without thinking or analyzing properly, we immediately accept, because it's coming from the Western world. And whatever our sages are given us, we demean it, we ignore it, we disregard it. This is the problem we Indians have. Everything is already mentioned in the scriptures, right? So coming back to this point, Shukadev Goswami told him that it is the perverted form, reflection of the spiritual world. Now, when it comes to our own, at our individual level, this is about the whole creation level and the universe level, planetary level. But even at the individual level also, it is said that the human form, particularly the human body, is a miniature of the universe. What we see in the universe, those things are there in our body as well, in a minute form. Munda and Brahmanda. Munda means individual, and Brahmanda is the whole universe. So whatever things are there in the Munda and the individual, those things are there in the Brahmanda also. So like 5 elements, what we see without us, outside us, those 5 elements are present within our body also. Now, this is with regard to the material objects. Similar concept is about Krishna, the Supreme Person. He's everywhere and he's within us also. Correct? He's within our heart in the Paramatma form. And he's all pervading, Sarva Vyapi. And Paramatma also within us, and in the outer side, outside our body, is Sarva Vyapi, all pervading. Now, many times, using this text from the scriptures, from the Bhagavatam, so-called intelligent people, so-called scholars, so-called learned people, well-educated people, they object, when devotees, they construct new temples, then they say, why there is need of so many temples? First of all, there is no need of the temple, no need of any murti, any deity, because God is residing within our heart and God is everywhere. So we should not waste the resources, we should not waste the land also by constructing temples on the piece of land. How many of you agree with that?
I don't agree. Don't agree.
What is the reason of your objection?
The thing is कि when we go to the temple, वहाँ पे एक जो भी मूर्ति होती है, हम मूर्ति की पूजा करते हैं. The problem is हम जो common human being हैं, हम इतने अभी evolved नहीं है कि सीधे बैठे ध्यान लगाएं और भगवान का ध्यान हो जाए. तो हमें एक ऑब्जेक्ट चाहिए जिसको देख के, जिसको मान के हम पूजा करें. प्लस मंदिर में जो भी मूर्ति होती है उसकी प्रॉपर स्थापना, प्राण प्रतिष्ठा होती है. तो उसमें वो जो प्रोसेस होता है, उसमें एक तरीके से भगवान बैठाई जाते हैं. एंड प्लस मंदिर की ऑरा, उसका कंस्ट्रक्शन, उसका वास्तु, ये सब मिला के वहां पे जाने पे एक अंदर एनर्जी हम फील करते हैं और ये होती है.
Yes, very true. So yeah, this is the scriptural reason you gave. And even, if we use common logic. Now, such people who object on the construction of temples and installing the deities and all that, if we argue with them, supposing now in India, also in Hong Kong, we have very hot summer. The weather is becoming really hot. Actually, heat is increasing all around the world, right? Now, if we ask such people that, do you have air conditioner in your office? Do you have air conditioner at home? They'll say, yes, of course. So why do they need air conditioner? Air is everywhere, right? So why do they need air conditioner? Now, to make themselves feel comfortable, cooler, they use air conditioner. Some kind of device is needed, correct? So same way, now this is for at the material level, our body needs it. So what to speak of the spiritual level? You very rightly said, because we are not so advanced that just, we can just meditate on the form of the Lord without being disturbed. So to facilitate our concentration and to imbibe that form of the Lord by looking at the deity form, then we can just remember that form of the Lord. It helps us to meditate in future as well. So for people like us, common people like us, it is very important to worship the deities. Murti puja is very, very important. And it is mentioned in the scriptures. So it is bona fide. Now, what material we use for the deity, that's a different matter. But deity form of the Lord is very important. When we do the pran pratishtha, very rightly you said, Shakuntala ji, that the form that energy of the Lord is already there in the deity form. What to speak of when the deities, they are installed with pran pratishtha, proper procedure. Even at many places, if you at homes you go, some friends, relatives' homes, most of the Indians, they have the altar, the deities they have. At many places, you will feel that, you will experience that when you look at the deities will reciprocate with you. Without proper pran pratishtha also, that is the mercy of the Lord. Mercy of the Lord does not depend on any kind of ritual, because mercy of the Lord is spiritual. So of course, if we are able to do it, well, by all means we should do it. But Krishna's mercy is not depending on these kind of rituals. So that's why even the deities, the murtis which are not installed at people's homes, sometimes when we go, we get different kind of feeling. And very nice feeling. If I don't know whether you have experienced, but I personally experienced, go to same person's house, same deities, we look at the same deity, we get the different kind of feelings from the deity. Sometimes the deity is smiling, sometimes deity is very gambhir, very grave. So Krishna reciprocates, deity is reciprocal. So yes, in particular in Kali Yuga, it is very significant, it's imperative actually to have deities, to worship the deities.
Sir, sorry, can you please repeat what you just said? Your voice was breaking.
Up to what point you heard?
When you look at different deities, you go to different houses. So, sir, that.
So you will see the deities will reciprocate with you. You will get different feeling. Sometimes you will see the deity is smiling at you. Sometimes deity is very, very grave, very gambhir. So these kind of feelings, depending on your consciousness, depending on your mood at that time. So deity will reciprocate with you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm not sure whether you have experienced that, but now try to focus
Yes,
whenever you go.
That is why I asked you again. I have
Yes.
experienced that, because sometimes when you're doing puja, you feel that the
Yes.
goddess is actually smiling, and
Yes.
when other times when you look at her, it is not so. But it is
Correct.
only during puja that you experience that feeling. So that is why I asked you, sir.
Yes. Mostly, when you are offering something, when you are offering any incense, deep or something, any paraphernalia, upchara you are offering, so the deity will reciprocate. And it depends on our, yes.
Just a question: is it also our own bhav which creates this happening, like feeling? Like
Definitely,
sometimes we are
as I said.
happy, and yeah, right.
Yeah, but see now here, Mukeshji, right? Mukeshji.
Yes. Yeah. Namaste.
Yes.
Yeah.
Namaste. So yeah, see, one thing is our bhav, but sometimes supposing our mood is not good,
Right.
we are distressed, we are kind of having any kind of difficulty. At that time also, when the deity, they want to the Krishna, whoever whichever deity you are, the
Right.
deity form wants to resolve your problem, you will see the deity smiling. Then you will get confidence.
Right.
You will get confidence automatically.
Correct.
No matter how distressed you may be feeling before going to the deity, when you see the smiling face of the deity, you'll feel so relieved. This is the reason in one of the sessions I mentioned previously, that whenever we leave our house to go out for work or whatever it is, we should, even for a few moments, we should stand in front of the altar.
Right.
And pray to God, I'm going out, please be with me in a subtle form and protect me. Stop me from doing wrong things. All these things, prayers we can offer to the Lord, and rest assured that Krishna will protect you. Yes, it will happen. And when we come back also, finishing our outside work, just go in front of the altar. Thank you, Krishna. You took care of me very nicely when I was out. You protected me, and you did not allow me to do any nonsense thing.
Sorry,
Krishna
can I share
reciprocates.
something?
Yes.
I just wanted to share something that the deities are very, very personal. Deities are very, very personal. It's not just our bhav, it's not just what we are feeling or the mood or something. They are actually very, very personal. The deities, he's Sakshat Bhagavan himself there. So I would just like to share a very personal experience, if I may. Some years ago, I was going through some serious health challenge, and we have a little Laddu Gopal at home. Prabhuji and I, we have a little Laddu Gopal. His name is Natkat Laddu Gopal. And because he's a baby, he needs a lot of care. We need to constantly take care of him and serve him and everything. So when I was going through some serious health issues, I felt unable to take care of him, to serve him properly. So therefore, I sent him away to my friend's home. She also has beautiful deities. And so I sent my Gopal there to be taken care of by her for some time. And after about 2 months passed, another friend of mine, one of our devotees at the ISKCON temple, she had a dream. And in that dream, my Laddu Gopal appeared to her in her dream, and he was crying. He was crying, and so she couldn't understand why, but she recognized him, and he was crying. So she took this matter up with one of our very senior devotees in ISKCON. And after further discussion and everything, this Mataji, she called me and she said that, Sri Radhika, you have to bring your Gopal back to your home. And I told her, I'm sorry, I can't, because I'm going through some health issues and I can't serve him properly. I can't take care of him properly right now. So then this devotee, she told me, this senior devotee, she told me, Sri Radhika, you don't understand. You have been taking care of your Laddu Gopal for so many years, so nicely. Now that you are not feeling well, your Laddu Gopal wants to take care of you. He wants to take care of you, so he wants to come home. He's not happy being away from your home. So no matter what your health situation is, just bring him back because he wants to be with you. Wow. So this is a very personal experience about how the deities are, they're just not murtis. They're not just some brass murti or something. When we serve them, when we talk to them with bhav, when we serve them with devotion, the presence is there. It's Sakshat Bhagavan, and they reciprocate. They reciprocate with us on a very personal level. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very nice. That's why they say bhav ke bhukhe hain Bhagwan.
Correct.
Correct. Yes, exactly.
और भगवान तो सर्वव्यापी है, हर जगह है. तो उस प्रतिमा में क्यों नहीं होंगे? होते हैं, बात भी करते हैं.
मैं एक चीज शेयर करना चाह रही थी. If you have time, then I'll
yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
I have seen my mother doing it. हम लोग शिवा को बहुत मानते हैं, हमारे इष्ट देव हैं. तो I have seen my mother talking. It is not a statue or anything. वो मूर्ति नहीं थी, फोटो थी, but मैंने उनसे बात करते देखा है the troubled times. And yes. She used to say कि मेरे सपने में आके वो मेरे सिर पे हाथ रख देते और I have a feeling कि सिर पे हाथ रख दिया है, so the problem will be solved. And it used to be solved.
Correct.
और वो इतनी भक्त थी कि she went on Shivratri day only.
Wow.
So that was surprising because उस time 2 Shivratri आ गई थी, but in the morning she knew. I gave her a medicine. तो she says कि नहीं मेरे को थोड़ा, because she used to eat something, कि मखाने दे दे मेरे को. मैं कहा क्यों, शिवरात्रि तो कल थी. कहती नहीं आज भी है 11 बजे तक. And within an hour or so she passed away on that day. So मैंने उनको इतना भक्ति से देखा है करते हुए कि she used to literally talk, जैसे हो ना कि क्यों किया तुमने ऐसा मेरे साथ, क्यों बात करते थे. तो कभी कभी हम लोगों को छोटेपन में थोड़ा अजरज होता था, बड़े हुए तो समझ में आने लगा सब चीजें कि ऐसे क्यों करती हैं वो. बट वही जो आप कह रहे हैं कि भाव होता है तो सब कुछ दिखता है उसी में. फोटो में भी वही चीज दिखती है आपको.
Thank you, Umaji, for sharing. Very nice, very nice.
Can I share something, Bhaktivinoda Prabhu?
Yes, please, Yogita ji.
Thank you. like Bhaktivinoda Prabhu said, Bhav ke saath share karte hain. Normally, yes, they definitely do reciprocate a lot. It depends on our feelings and our heartfelt love that we give them. And when I was serving to them, I was cooking particularly for them. Everything was supposed to be two items accordingly. And when I served them, and then I request Srimati Radharani, please touch your hand to this, otherwise the Lord will not eat it, because he loves anything and everything cooked by you, only you. My cooking is nothing. Please just touch it. It will become pure and he will not refuse it at all. And that was that one day that my mother-in-law happened to be here from India. And yeah, the later jab khana kha rahe the na sab log, and then she asked me, she goes, oh, ye kaun se restaurant se mangaya, bahut tasty hai. And I just looked at her and I was like, Mummy, ye ghar pe banaya hai na, ye wo hai. She's like, huh? Ghar pe banaya hai? She's like, impossible. And then I took her to the kitchen and I showed her, this is home cooked meal. And she couldn't believe it. She's like, itna acha kaise ho sakta hai? What did you do? What did you put? And in my heart, in my mind, I knew it's nothing but it's being touched by Srimati Radharani. That is the flavor that is there in the food. And the second time again, nobody was here, but my mom happened to be passing by to drop something here. And luckily it happened to be lunchtime. Again, the same thing, that I request Srimati Radharani to please touch, and then so that the Lord will honor it. And then my mom happened to be crossing to lunchtime. Again, she came up. And then I told mom, since it's time now, why don't you honor at least a prasadam? If you don't want to have lunch, no problem. Just honor this much, which is Mahaprasad. And I gave her, she had a spoon and she was like, wow, unbelievable. You have cooked this? And I was like, yeah, it's cooked at home. She's like, I cannot believe it's you who has cooked this. And I was like, okay. And then she had the other bit that I gave her in a plate. She's like, ये दोनों का टेस्ट मैच नहीं होता है. This is really something different. And I told her, Mom, it's Mahaprasadam. That is why it's on matching, because I have no capability to match that level. So the difference there that day was actually experienced, and it was just beautiful. Really depends truly on the bhava that we, serve their lordship with. They definitely reciprocate all the time. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank
for
you,
allowing me
Yogita
to
ji.
share.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So does that mean that you trouble Srimati Radharani to touch the food only whenever somebody is visiting you?
No, I do it, like I said, every time.
I'm just joking.
Because I know my food is going to have problems every time. Especially I bug them. Namak ke bare mein, I know I have problems. So I tell Radharani every day almost. I'm like, Radharani, you know me, salt barabar nahi hoga, so please, it's your Sham Sundar who's going to have it. Please, 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 at least for him, I hope it's proper.
Yes. Very good, Yogita ji. Thank you for sharing this. See, but from these kind of instances, these kind of examples, experiences of different devotees, we can understand that even in Kali Yuga also, we are not very qualified. We are not so pure devotees like in the previous yugas, but Krishna is so merciful. That's why we say Krishna's mercy is unconditional and limitless. So even though we are not qualified, Krishna bestows his mercy upon us. And whatever kind of incompleteness is there in our devotion, Krishna himself completes it. This is Krishna's mercy, extra mercy, particularly on the people of Kali Yuga. So from that perspective also, we are very fortunate that we are born in this Kali Yuga. And this many times we have heard, also, I think most of you also must have heard that, when we offer something at the altar, and we keep in front of the deity, and we offer the bhoga, and that what we eat as prasad, the taste of that prasad is so much different. If that same kind of recipe we use, same dish we prepare on some different occasion, and we eat it without offering, the taste will not be the same.
Agree, correct.
So this is the proof that, the Lord is, through his glance, is enhancing the taste of that bhoga what we are offering to him. So this is Krishna's reciprocation. Now, having said this all, after sharing all these things, we also need to be mindful that we should not prematurely imitate great devotees. Sometimes people, they start shouting at the deities and all that. Prematurely, we should not do that. Gopis used to do that. Gopis used to, just as Krishna, that, why you always stay in our heart? You leave our heart. You're bothering us so much because we always meditate on you. We are not able to focus on our household work. So gopis were at that level who could tell Krishna to leave their hearts, but we cannot. First of all, we need to request him to come to our heart. Right. So my point I want to make here, that prematurely we should not imitate. We should follow the footsteps of great devotees, but we should not prematurely imitate whatever they did. We also should start following like that. Of course, Krishna is very forgiving. He will forgive our offenses, but we need to be very mindful. If we consider ourselves or we try to become his devotees, then our first basic initial mood should be to serve him, not to take service from him. Most of the time, even though we are not qualified, we may not be devotees, but whenever we go to temple or in front of any deity, any murti, we don't ask him, how can we serve you? We put the long list, that please fulfill all our demands, supply all these things to us. So actually we are asking him to serve us, right? So we need to correct our mood. We need to serve him, not the other way around. And of course, when anybody becomes a great devotee, then Krishna becomes his devotee. Krishna likes to serve his devotees. But first we need to come to that level, right? So Shukadev Goswami started telling Parikshit Maharaj about the creation. Now he said how this creation happened. Initially, the thought of creation, the whole plan of creation, manifested in the heart of Lord Brahma. When Lord Brahma, he woke up from his sleep, after the intermediate devastation, Alpa Pralay, we call it, intermediate devastation. There is complete devastation which happens after Brahma's whole life is over. But after each day of Lord Brahma, when Lord Brahma goes to take rest, after 12 hours of Lord Brahma, but that also is very long period. Many multiplied times of yugas, many cycles of yugas. 14 manvantaras in 12 hours of Lord Brahma. 14 Indras, they change. That means 14 different people, they are appointed as Indra during the 12 hours duration of Lord Brahma, 1 day of Lord Brahma. So it's a very long period. Many manvantaras happen at that time. 14 manvantaras. So in one manvantara, there are many Mahayugas. Mahayuga means, the cycle of 4 yugas. So it's a very long duration. So after 12 hours of Lord Brahma, when Lord Brahma goes to take rest for 12 hours, so it is the intermediate devastation. So that the period of devastation also lasts for that long period. And after that, when Lord Brahma wakes up, then he has to start the creation again. So the whole creation is manifested when Lord Brahma wakes up. So this is what Shukadev Goswami is explaining to Parikshit Maharaj, how the creation starts. And Lord Brahma follows the instructions revealed in his heart by the Supreme Person, by Krishna. So Brahma is not like an original creator as such. The cause of creation is Krishna himself. Brahma is just like an engineer or an architect. So he follows the blueprint given by Lord Krishna to him, that how many universes will be there, how many planets in the universe, because each universe has his own Brahma. And it will be interesting for you to know, our Brahma, this Brahmand, our Brahma is the smallest, because our universe is the smallest. In the whole creation, there are millions and trillions of universes. And our Brahman is the smallest. That's why the Brahma has 4 heads only. There are many Brahmas who have millions of heads according to the size of the universe. Once our Brahma, it is said that we are fortunate that Brahma of this Brahman, Brahma of this universe, the topmost person of this universe is a devotee. So it is said, if the head of the state is a devotee, then the citizens will become devotees. So because the head of this Brahman, head of the universe is the devotee, so there are chances for us to become a devotee. Big chances for us to become a devotee. So Brahma wanted to see Krishna. He went to Dwarka.
Yes. One question.
Yes, Shakuntalaa.
अगर हमारा ब्रह्मांड, हमारा यूनिवर्स सबसे छोटा है, तो बड़ा किसका है? कौन रहते हैं वहां पर?
वहां पे भी जीव आत्माएं रहती है ना। अभी आपने ये प्रश्न उठाया है कि कितनी बार ऐसा कहा गया है कि जो जीवन है वो केवल पृथ्वी लोक पे है।
Yes.
Many people they say that.
Yes.
They say that life is only on the Earth planet. Other planets are empty. Right? This is I want to share with you the conversation between initial disciples of Srila Prabhupada in America. So in those days, early 60s, astronauts when they went to the moon. Correct? So Prabhupada was discussing with them. Prabhupada did not believe that at that time. So he asked, why didn't they live there for a long time? Why they had to leave the moon planet? And why they did not bring any pictures of living beings there? Only the rocks, pictures of rocks. So the disciple said, because nobody lived there. And they took some supply of food from Earth. And when the food was getting exhausted, they had to come back. They could not survive there. So Prabhupada laughed. He said in Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly mentioned that the vegetation on the earth is possible because of the moon rays.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
If the moon is the source of the vegetation on the earth planet, how come moon itself does not have any vegetation? It doesn't make sense, right? Logically.
Yes.
Right? And then Prabhupada said that these people, they could not see the living beings there because it's a heavenly planet. We need to have that vision to see them. So they could not see. So disciples, Prabhupada, do you mean that there are people living there? Prabhupada says, yes, definitely. People are living there. Because he gave very, very practical example. This was the beauty of Prabhupada, He was very witty and very logical to the point. Then he said that supposing, I give you example that the government wants to construct a township. So the government, the construction department, building department will invite tenders from different developers. And then will approve some tenders, some plans of developers. Developers will construct the buildings. Now, what is the purpose? What is the objective of construction of the buildings? Of course, for people to stay there, right? People to live there, right? Now, the government officials who are working in the building department and the developers, they get the intelligence from God. Using their intelligence, they construct the buildings for people to live. Now, God, who gave that intelligence to people for constructing buildings for people to live, he's so foolish that he created so many planets and he created life only on the Earth planet. Other planets he left empty. Why would any developer construct a building to leave that building empty? Does it make sense? It doesn't make any sense. So there are very highly sophisticated, their technology also is very advanced, they live there. And if they do not want to be seen, they can conceal themselves, they can hide themselves. Prabhupada gave example, what to speak of the living beings on the other planet. On our same planet also, there are so many bacteria, so many germs in the air. We cannot see them. But that doesn't mean they don't exist. They're there. Even the water also cannot be 100% sterilized. When we boil water, we see the bubbles in the water, but still it is proven fact then in the boiling water also, there are certain bacteria which can survive. So there are living beings in the fire also. There are living beings in the water. So in all elements, there are living beings. In the air also, there are so many germs, bacteria, viruses moving around, floating around. So this is the logical thing Prabhupada said. On the moon planet also, on the sun planet also, there are living beings. Now, the bodies they get, which is suitable for them to live there, which allows them to live there. Like aquatics, they can live in the water. They always live in the water, but we cannot survive in the water for a very long time because the body is like that. So on the different planets also, there are living beings. So this is the answer I wanted to give, Shakuntala ji.
और हाँ, वैसे UFOs और ये भी तो आते ही हैं, कहीं से तो आते ही हैं।
हाँ, correct.
ये भी तो
शकुंतला मैम, PLR में भी तो ऐसे सुना है तृप्ति मैम का कि कई लोगों ने बताया that they were beings of a different planet, they did not belong to Earth, है ना?
हाँ, एक का सुना था, मार्स से भी कोई आया।
Yeah.
अभी वीडियो था।
Yeah, now see here, I want to share with you. You might have seen some movies, alien movies and all that. Many Hollywood movies, they show the aliens. They show that aliens, they look so ugly, so dirty, disformed, So this is human arrogance. Actually, in the Bhagavatam, the description of demigods who live in the heavenly planets, they are so beautiful. They are so beautiful. Thousands times beautiful than the human beings. But our human ego is so strong, we project them as very ugly looking people from the other planets, aliens. But they are very, very beautiful looking people, the demigods. So the point in conclusion, I want to say that on the other planets also, there is life. So in the same universe, on the other planets also life, in the other universes also there is life. Otherwise, why Krishna would ask Brahma, different Brahmas to create the universe and to create the planets, right? So Brahma wanted to go and see Krishna in Dwarka. He went there. He told doorkeepers, you tell Krishna, very arrogantly, because he thought that I'm the topmost man of the universe. So he said, tell Krishna that Brahma has come to see him. So doorkeeper went inside and he came again. Now he asked, Krishna is asking, which Brahma you are? Brahma said, what do you mean by which Brahma I am? I'm Brahma, no? Then doorkeeper said, oh, you come in. Then Brahma saw that there were Brahma with 100 heads, Brahma with 1,000 heads, like that. When he saw that, then he said, no, I'm not qualified to meet Krishna. He just left without meeting Krishna. So we are fortunate that, what I said, Brahma is a devotee. That Vimohan Leela happened with devotee, with Krishna. And Brahma performed the wedding ceremony of Krishna and Srimati Radharani. So he's a devotee. And if you read Brahma Samhita, very nice prayers he has offered to Lord Krishna, Govindam Adi Purusham, Tamam Bhajami, ending all the shlokas, ending that sentence. So Brahma offered very nice prayers to Krishna. So that whole plan manifested in the heart of Brahma first. It happened within him first, and then it manifested outside. Brahma created its outside. So now, here I want to stress the point, most of you are doing this different kind of energy systems and all. It is very important what kind of consciousness we have, what kind of thought process we have. That thought process can cause the manifestation of that the tangible manifestation of that thought. So we need to be very careful what we think. It is said that we need to be careful also what we speak, because during 24 hours, on one moment, Mother Saraswati comes to sit on our tongue. So whatever we say, it may come true, right? So we need to be very mindful what we speak. It should not become tathastu, right? Let it be. If we say something, God say, okay, let it be like that. So the thought process is very important. We need to be very careful. Otherwise, I think some of you might have heard that it is said that the energy flows where the attention goes. So wherever we are our attention is, then the energy will go there, will keep getting concentrated, and then it will manifest. Thing will happen like that. One true incident happened long time ago in our college days. We heard that one young man, he was in early 30s. He went to the hospital and got himself admitted in the hospital. He told the doctors, because he was fond of reading books on health topics. So he read once a book on a health topic, and he read some symptoms about the heart disease. So coincidentally, he had some symptoms. So he thought that he was a heart patient. Something was wrong with his heart. So he went and he told the doctor, I read that book, I feel that something is wrong with my heart. So the doctor did the ECG and all that. The doctor said, everything is fine. He said, no, doctor, you don't know. Actually, I feel like that. There is really something wrong. So now he was from a very rich family, and the parents also, he's a young guy, just to pacify him, just admit him in the hospital. Now they admitted him in the ward, but then he said, you should admit me in the ICU. You should take care of me properly. Otherwise, I may get the heart failure. The doctor was, in their mind, they were laughing what to do with this guy. To cut the story short, it was a big article mentioned, published in the newspaper. Eventually, that guy died because of the heart attack at a very young age. He attracted a heart attack to himself. So we need to be careful what we think. Many times in our day-to-day life also, supposing it happens very commonly in India. Supposing we are sitting, somebody comes, and uninvited guest comes. Oh, then we say, oh, मैं आप ही के विषय में सोच रहा था, मैं आप ही के विषय में सोच रही थी. Right? Many times it happens in India, people say that, right? भगवान से मैं और कुछ मांगती थी तो मुझे वो भी मिल जाता था. So that means something is more important than the person. Right? So these kind of things happen. So this is, I'm just giving these examples to exemplify, to illustrate the point that the mental energy, the mental power, the thought power is very strong. We need to be very careful. So the whole material creation, the whole creation of the universe, it was in the very subtle form in Brahma's heart. And then Brahma started working on it, and then step by step, he created different planets and different living beings he sent to those planets according to the previous karma of the living beings. Now, if Brahma, I want to ask you a question here. If Brahma, he puts different living beings in different planets, in different places, at different places on the same planet also. How does he do that? And where those living beings are before Brahma sends them to different planets, on the same planet also at different places. So before Brahma does that, where are these living beings? Where do they live?
Is it they are born again, and according to their karmas, they get their new form?
Of course, they get a new form, but in the subtle form, in the spiritual form, where are they? Before they get the body, the physical body, gross body. Sorry?
In the realms that we spoke about, you said that there are like 14, and according to their own, they are in that level when they're not in their physical bodies on earth.
14, those Manvantaras we are talking about?
No, you said there are different layers, that this is Mrityulok and Bhulok and all those layers, different layers.
Correct. Yeah, but still, even, the living thing can be in the Bhuloka, Swargaloka, or Bhuvaloka, but within the universe only.
Yes.
But before Brahma sends any particular living being to any particular planet, as I said, at any particular realm, any particular level, but before Brahma sends that living being to that place, where does that living being live?
Are we a part of Brahma only?
नहीं, परमात्मा हम है ना, तो परमात्मा से निकले हैं, तो गॉड
We are a part of him.
कृष्णा में ही मिले हुए हैं हम लोग. जब कृष्णा ने अपना विराट रूप दिखाया था तो उसमें सारे लोग दिखाए थे उन्होंने, तो they are all residing in them.
We're in the body of Mahavishnu.
Correct. This also I had discussed in one of our previous sessions. Vishnu also, there are three expansions of Vishnu, three forms of Vishnu. They are expansions of Krishna. Mahavishnu, or who is called Karanadakshay Vishnu, who lies on the causal ocean, Karana Sagara. So he is the main Karana, he is the main cause. So, and he's called Mahavishnu. So all the living beings at the time of devastation, they take shelter of the Garbha, of the womb of that Mahavishnu. They live in his body. And when Brahma wakes up from his sleep, then all these living beings are sent to this material world. And then Brahma, according to the previous karma of particular each living being, he sends that living being to that place, that particular place. So the spirit soul never dies. Atma ka maran nahi hota hai. Atma ajara amar hai. Correct? तो हमारे कर्मों के अनुसार वो निर्णय लिया जाता है कि हमें कौन सा शरीर मिलेगा. So karma is the deciding factor. We don't have any choice. We don't have any say there. We cannot say that, oh, please let me take birth in this family, that family, from those parents. No, we don't have that right. The deciding factor is our karma. According to our karma, the higher entities, higher living beings, they decide that where we should take birth, where should we be sent, where we should be sent. So our karma is very important from that perspective. So coming back to this point, so as I said, Brahma, the Brahman, and the individual. The individual is the miniature of Lord Brahma, right? Or the whole universe, your universal form. So in Brahma's heart, first the manifestation took a subtle form in his thought form, and then Brahma created in the tangible form. So same way, our thought process also can take the tangible form when we act on it, when we act according to that. So our thought process also is very, very important. What kind of thought process we have. Now, that's the reason, nowadays, very common. People, they say, always think positive, think positive, think positive. So this is the reason why think positive. The positive thing is very important. But again, we also need to know where to draw the line. Only thinking is not enough. To acquire certain results, to acquire certain things, or to attain any kind of goals, we need to work also according to that. Only thinking is not enough. If by thinking only we can acquire everything, then many times I give this example. In India, there are so many beggars. So they also think about becoming a millionaire. So if only by thinking they can become millionaire, then they could have become millionaire. But to acquire certain things, material objects, we need to work. In Ramcharitmanas, one Chaupai, Tulsidas, she has said that Karma Pradhana Vishwarati Rakha, Jo Jas Karahi, So Tasu Paluchaka. Karma Pradhan. So this creation is Karma Pradhan. Now, when we have to survive in this world, karma is very important. But when we are leaving this world at the time of death, our thought process is very important. What kind of consciousness we have. And according to the consciousness, according to our thought process, at the time of death, that will decide our subsequent form, our next form. That's what Krishna told Arjuna. At that time, Krishna did not say, Arjuna, that what kind of work the person is doing, according to that, the person will get the next form. No. What kind of thought process the person has, what kind of consciousness the person has. So at the time of death, our consciousness influences our next birth, decides our next birth. But when we are, as long as we are alive, for our survival, for acquiring different things in the material world, we need to work. Only thinking is not enough. planning can help us to work, but that plan we need to implement. Without implementation, we cannot acquire the results. We cannot get the results. Does it make sense? The difference? You understand that?
Yes.
So karma pradhana vishwara chiraka jo chase karai so tasa palchaka. So I will stop here today. If somebody wants to add anything else or any comments or any questions before we finish this session today. Any question anybody has or any comment anybody has?
Interesting session और अच्छा लग रहा है सुनने में और अभी आगे और सुनने का बड़ा ही इंतजार है जो बहुत ही खूबसूरत मैनिफेस्टेशन किया है जो भी हमारे इस धरती का भगवान ने जो भी किया है सुना है और हाँ काफी कॉन्सेप्ट्स क्लियर है अभी
ये देखिए जो शकुंतला जी when I said, initially when we started this, see the, when we discuss in more detail, it takes so much of time. Sometimes one topic also, the discussion takes very long time. So from this, again, I want to mention this, it is very difficult to complete the whole Katha of Bhagavatam in 7 days. Right?
Not possible.
Yeah.
कोई continuous read करता रहे and that too 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then उसमें सिर्फ reading होगा. No
Correct.
understanding, no detailing.
Yeah, the recitation, like a parrot, not like Shukadev Goswami, just like a ordinary parrot. It can be done in 7 days.
Yeah.
But if we want to particularly, especially understand it, because this is the objective of reading the scriptures. We don't have to just read like a novel. We need to study them. And we need to understand, we need to realize, then we need to invite the instructions given in the scriptures. Then only we can benefit. If we want to maximize the benefits of that, we need to do it properly.
कोई भी स्क्रिप्चर को we have to study धीरे धीरे और एक एक श्लोक अंदर जाना चाहिए तभी फायदा है अदरवाइज इस तरह की रेसिटेशन से कोई मतलब नहीं
मतलब वो हमें जो लक्ष्य प्राप्त करना वो नहीं मिलेगा कुछ तो लाभ मिलेगा ऐसा नहीं कि लाभ नहीं मिलेगा but it will not serve the purpose, the actual goal what is we are looking for. Cannot attain that goal.
और आज के सेशन में ये भी अच्छा लगा कि आपने बताया कैसे योगा के बारे में कैसे पहले लॉर्ड विष्णु ने लॉर्ड शिवा को बताया कि ये जो भी सीक्वेंस था ये डिसाइडिंग कैसे हुई ये भी इंटरेस्टिंग है
Lord Krishna gave different names to Lord Shiva, which are originally Krishna's names. Like जैसे मैंने बताया, I said no, Yogeshwara. Lord Shiva also is known as Yogeshwara. Because Krishna imparted the whole knowledge of yoga system to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva imbibed it, and Lord Shiva did it. So Krishna gave him that title, Yogeshwara. Krishna also gave title to Shiva of Gopishwara. Krishna is known as Gopishwara, Ishwara of Gopis, Master of Gopis. Same title he gave to Lord Shiva also. Does anyone know that pastime? That Leela?
No.
Once Lord Shiva wanted to participate in the Rasa Leela. So he went to Brajabhumi. So Purnamasi, who is like a director of that whole Rasa Leela, elderly lady, what I told you earlier. So she stopped him. She said, you cannot go. Lord Shiva said, but I want to participate in the Rasa Leela. I also can dance. So Purnamasi said, I know what kind of dance you do. You only know Tandav. You cannot do Rasa Leela. But now, if you are insisting so much, if you want to participate, you cannot participate in this form. You need to take gopi form. Only gopis are allowed. Then she told him to take bath in the kunda there, and then she can acquire a gopi form. So Lord Shiva did that. Then in the gopi form he went. So now Krishna realized, Krishna immediately understood that Lord Shiva is here. Because Shiva is very dear devotee of Krishna, Param Vaishnava. Lord Shiva is Param Vaishnava. So there are many interesting pastimes, leelas between Krishna and Shiva, between Lord Ram and Shiva, like that. So Lord Shiva went and stood in the queue of all the gopis. So Krishna said, he told gopis, it seems that today we have a new gopi in our group. Now I want to look at each gopi's face and call out that gopi's name, so that everyone is familiar with each one. So then he told gopis, you stand in the queue. So Lord Shiva went and stood at the end of the queue, because he said when Krishna starts looking at gopis' faces, by the time he reaches, because so many millions of gopis there. So by the time he reaches up to me, then he will be tired. So he will not be able to focus on my face. So he stood and went to the end of the queue. Then Krishna said, I will start from the other side. Then Shiva moved to the other side. So it happened for some time. But anyway, Krishna said, just leave it. No need to see. We start the dance. So when they started dancing, now the gopis, there was proper rhythm. Their feet movement, it was very systematic, very synchronized way they would do. But Lord Shiva was not familiar with those steps. So he was doing in his own way. So he was, disturbing the whole system, whole dance, whole rhythm. So Krishna said, told that Shiva, you gopi or a new gopi, you don't know how to dance. Let me teach you. Then Krishna went and held his hand, Lord Shiva's hand, in the gopi form. When Lord Krishna touched his hand, Lord Shiva was in samadhi. So when he went in samadhi, he came in his original form. He could not hide himself. And then he offered very nice prayers to Krishna. So then Krishna, that spot is there. There is the Lord Shiva's temple, that Gopishwara temple. When you do the Govardhan Parikrama, you will see Gopishwara temple there. So that is the Gopishwara. Lord Krishna gave Lord Shiva that name, Gopishwara.
Gopeshwar Mahadev, it's there, yeah.
Yes, Gopishwara Mahadev. Yes. So this is the second name Lord Krishna gave. And also he gave Lord Shiva Krishna's name in a little different form, Nataraj, king of all dancers. Right? So these are the names Krishna gave to Lord Shiva. So yeah, where there are very, very interesting pastimes, between Krishna and Lord Shiva, and between Lord Ramachandra and Lord Shiva. That's why we see there is so much of link between Durga Devi and Krishna, and Durga Devi and Lord Ramachandra also. Mother Parvati.
और जब भगवान राम वहां पे गए थे रामेश्वरम, उन्होंने लॉर्ड शिवा की पूजा भी की थी.
Correct. So when Lord Ramachandra offered the prayers to the Shiva Lingam at Rameshwaram, so that place is called Rameshwaram. Now, one meaning of Rameshwar is Ishwar of Ram, right? Rameshwar. Another meaning, because Sanskrit is a very wonderful language, another meaning of Rameshwar is the person whose Ishwar is Ram. So Lord Shiva takes Rameshwar as that, that Rameshwar, I'm Rameshwar because my Ishwar is Ram. So that's why I'm called Rameshwar. So this is a very interesting interaction they have between both of them. Wonderful interaction they have. So when we hear about these things, then it also raises our consciousness for a while at high level.
Interesting.
You had some point or any question, Shakuntalaji, earlier when we started
only.
Okay.
Yes, I just wanted to say it is really interesting. Many things. अच्छा है.
Yes. जब ये सुनने में इतना अच्छा लगता है, जब ये जो सब बातें बताई गई है, विशेषकर जो निर्देश दिए गए हैं, जब भी हम उनका पालन करेंगे तो हमें कितना अच्छा लगेगा। जो बातें सुनने में इतनी अच्छी लगती हैं, जब भी वो हम अपने जीवन में उतारें तो कितना अच्छा लगेगा, right? So we should pray to Krishna for that. Yes,
a constant this thing reminder of these things has to be there. So that is why I think satsang is very important, because अच्छी तो, but we tend to forget as soon as it is over.
Absolutely,
so if
absolutely.
we don't then we just tend to forget everything, keep them aside, and become that, what you call, that was a very nice word, grahast medi.
Correct.
Like tied to.
Yes. So very interesting point you said. That's the reason शास्त्रों में ना सत्संग, साधु संग, उसका बहुत महत्व दिया गया है. Association of devotees is very, very important, because on our own we cannot continue for a long time, because we have so many contaminations. So it's very easy for us to feel very lethargic, uninterested, very lazy to do these things. So, but if we are supported by devotees in the family and around us, then it can boost our morale, spiritual morale, and we can practice properly. And that continuation is there. To maintain that continuity, association of devotees is very, very important. And when we are fortunate enough, then Krishna allows us to be living in the association of the devotees. Yes, आप कुछ बोलने वाली थी?
विनोद जी, आपने जो मेरे को बताया कि 24 घंटे में एक बारी सरस्वती तथास्तु कहती है, किसी ने मेरे से 40-50 साल पहले मुझे किसी ने बताया था, and I must be around 22, between 20 to 25.
Okay.
Since then I have become so careful in speaking. I mean, I check myself. कहीं कुछ गलत सोच रही होती हूँ किसी के लिए, तो ऐसे नहीं, this is not right on my part. I should forgive. I should forget about it. तो आप कॉन्स्टेंटली अपने आप को चेक करते हैं कि आप कुछ ऐसा ना बोलें जो सरस्वती माँ आपको तथास्तु उसी वक्त कह रहे हैं.
करेक्ट.
ये मुझे आज आपने फिर से रिमाइंड करा दिया, बीच में भूल गई थी. किसी ने मेरे को बहुत पहले बताया था ये.
थैंक यू फॉर शेयरिंग
यंगर डेज. हाँ, थैंक यू.
यस. और वाणी को भी ना वैसे कहते हैं, ये भी मैंने बात एक बार कही थी एक सेशन में. The tongue, we call it वाणी, right? वाणी का क्या अर्थ होता है? वाण means arrow, right? So arrow का जो feminine version है वो वाणी. So it is said that people who are wounded by the arrows, those wounds can be healed, but the wounds which are caused by the वाणी, those cannot be healed. So we have to be very careful, because our lips also, they're like a bow. वो धनुष के समान है ना. हमारे होंठ देखेंगे, जो नीचे का होंठ है वो तार के समान है, जो धनुष में तार होती है, और जो ऊपर का जो होंठ है वो धनुष का जो शरीर होता है उसके समान है, और वाणी से फिर वो बाण छूटते हैं. So we have to be very careful that our words should not be wounding others, otherwise those wounds cannot be healed so easily.
That's why God has given us 2 walls, to protect. वाणी को सोच समझ के बाहर निकालना चाहिए. Teeth है, उसके बाद lips है.
Correct, you're right, absolutely right. There are 2 barriers there, so we have to be very careful. Yeah.
But there's a kahavat in Hindi also that the tongue doesn't have any bones. Like you don't just, you can just shoot off anything and it doesn't take any effort to say wrong things.
Yeah, see, when it doesn't have any bone, that means, it is uncontrollable. So that's a more reason that we need to be more careful about it.
Yes.
That is what is said, ki education teaches you what to say, when to say, and how to say.
Yes.
These are the 3 things. If education doesn't teaches you this, there's no point to be educated.
Correct. You're right.
I would like to add to that. They say it takes 2 years to learn what to speak. It takes 2 years to speak, and a lifetime what not to speak.
Very true.
Yeah, very true.
Very true.
Very true.
Yes.
Very true.
Yeah. Very nicely said. See, we are, many times we discuss about this and we know about, back of our mind, we know about it, but the modes of nature, sometimes they can be so strong. We are influenced by this mode of nature. After having this kind of knowledge, this kind of information also, many times, when we are attacked by anger, our whole intelligence is clouded, completely covered. तो ये पूरा ज्ञान तभी लुप्त हो जाता है, तभी वाणी पे नियंत्रण नहीं रहता. And this is the reason, because whole intelligence is covered, and then we speak the things which we should not be speaking to hurt somebody, and then we will regretful also after that. But at that moment, the effect of that mode of ignorance is so strong that we cannot control it. Now, for that reason also, to be always be in the mode of goodness, towards mode of goodness, nirantar abhyas, continuous practice is required. And when we associate with people who are in mode of goodness, then automatically will be influenced by mode of goodness. Right?
Yes, correct.
So, okay. So we will meet again after 2 weeks.
Sure. Thank you so much.
So talk more
Thank you
about
so
the
much.
creation at that time.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, everybody.
So
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank
This
you so
one.
much. Wonderful session. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mukesh, for coming today.
Thank you.